Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com off of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. And I got an email from somebody a couple days ago, and he was talking about how his marriage was built on lies. He's talking about how his wife manipulated him from day one to get married to him, and all the stuff that was hidden from him that he found out 2, 3, 4 years later about his wife, how she grew up and the family, and how that stems from a lot of the problems that they have due to her upbringing and how she was raised and the family dynamics and with the parents and everything. And I said, man, you know what? I wrote him back. I said, hey, join the club, brother. You know, most marriages today is built on lies. You know, see, a lot of us, you know, we live in the United States of America. And a lot of us, we're looking for the perfect person, which doesn't exist. You can't have you can't expect to meet a perfect person if you're living in the United States of America. Look who's the president. That tells you the consciousness of the people that's living in this country. You know, you can't have that type of person as a figurehead and expect your life to be flawless or expect the people you meet to be perfect. You can't look at what happened. Look at what the cops is doing. All the injustices and the mistreatment of people, and they're killing innocent people. You can't expect you can't expect the chaos around you not to affect you directly or indirectly. This is not going to happen like that. You know, so you know, a lot of us, we fall for the Nicki Minaj, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, Amber Rose types. And the type of women that's on Instagram. That's the type that we usually fall for. And when we get with these type of women, and as soon as you have an argument with them or some disagreement, they ready to leave and move on to the next guy. See, these are the types that a lot of guys want to get with these type of women. And when they do, they realize that it's not too much to these type of women. It's like they're worse than the average woman. Because we and the reason why this happens because us as men, we go on looks. See, we think that if we get the baddest chick, that somehow she's by default is going to be better than a 7 or 8. But I'm telling you, it doesn't happen that way. You know, and a lot of times, see, when you meet women out here, if you sit down and listen to them, they're going to tell you everything about them. All you got to do is ask questions, and they'll tell you about their past history if you stay around them long enough. And they'll tell you about their patterns. See, every woman, every person has patterns. See, if a woman says, hey, you know, the last guy I was with, I stayed with him for 6 months, 12 months, and I just got bored with him, you know, and I just move on to the next guy. Or he just wasn't the one. You know, if you give vague answers like that, that's almost a red flag. I mean, if every time a problem comes up and she's ready to get out or move on or just don't want to deal with whatever the situation is, and it could be something simple too. I'm not even talking about anything major. That's a red flag. If this person like starts and never finishes anything, that's a red flag. because that person, if they get with you, they're gonna do the same thing. As soon as some type of problem comes up, because it's gonna happen, you know. And this is why most marriages don't last, because people can't get past the problems. But as soon as a problem come up, they're ready to throw in the towel, and they're ready to upgrade and move on to the next guy. You know, that's a red flag. That person is not really committed. They're not really what I call capable of being lovable. They're not capable of loving you or anybody else for that matter. So, see, a person that doesn't really stick it out, a person that doesn't really find a way to get past the difficulties, and you know, it's hard because it's painful, and that's what most people that don't. That's why a lot of people don't like committing to very much of anything, including themselves, because they don't like getting past the pain. It's like they don't like to work out because that's painful after a while. In the beginning, that's painful. They don't like to do anything that's uncomfortable or painful. Whenever you spot this, you know, don't walk, run, because this person is kind of living in a fairy tale world. Because a lot of people, we tend to want everything to feel good all the time. See, well, if it doesn't feel good, if it's not comfortable all the time, a lot of people want out of it. They want out. They don't have nothing to deal with it. And these are the type of women you cannot settle with. You can't settle with somebody like that. You can't expect them to be in a long-term relationship with you. I don't care what type of relationship it is. I don't care if a business relationship, a personal relationship, or marriage, or whatever it is. You know that these types are not going to be in a long-term relationship with you. It's not going to happen. You know, this is why you see a lot of celebrities, they don't stick together very long, because it's like, you know, a lot of them have hidden agendas, and they had their own intentions from the get-go. So whenever things start not going in the direction they want it to go, and then you see they part ways and they go elsewhere, and then they'll get with another guy, and that'll last for a couple months, and then they go to another guy. I mean, and it goes on and on and on. Everybody's in Hollywood world, Hollywood land. Everyone's hopping, going back and forth, sleeping with the same people, because it's not a lot of people to go around. You know, I mean, even some of the people that's married are still hopping from fence to fence behind the scenes, because it's not a lot of people to go around. It's not like they got it's not like it's a huge city, or, you know, full of millions of people. No, it's a small community with thousands of people. That's it. So you're not going to have but so many people to go around. So you have, like, a lot of people are not really, a lot of guys, I mean, are kind of under the assumption that, you know, if I get the baddest chick, you know, I'll be able to, you know, stick it out and everything will be okay. So if you live in an environment like we do, where it's chaos everywhere, mistreatment, the president is talking crazy, you know, you can't really expect some of that to spill over in your relationships, directly or indirectly. Now, you might be saying, that doesn't affect me at all. Oh, yes, it does. You pay taxes, you buy food, you might have a car, more than likely. You buy gas, you got to pay for rent, or maybe you might have a mortgage. There's taxes. That stuff affects you. You might, well, unless you off the grid or in the woods somewhere, or you hunt for your own food, it affects you. If you interact with a woman If you got a girlfriend or a wife, that affects your woman. It affects the environment, affects how your woman acts, behave, her emotions, and then and that's going to trickle down to you, how she reacts to you when she comes home or whenever you see her. Is she stressed? Maybe, maybe not. Do y'all have kids? It affects the kids. So it does affect you. It affects your kids, affects your wife, it affects how everybody acts, behave, how they feel. So it affects everything. Then the whole environment affects everything. So you can't expect stuff that happens around you not to affect you and affect the people that you know, love, trust, and associate with. You can't expect the best. It's almost impossible. The way it is today, the way the landscape and the social environment is in this country, and the cost of living is going up, and the pay is not going up, and a lot of people don't know how to make money independently, and don't know how to multiply it, and don't know how to keep it. So that stuff affects people. It affects their emotions. Some people have anxiety. So that has a lot to do with how the decisions a lot of women make, and how they act, and who they associate with, the guy they associate with, how they treat certain guys, the relationship they have with certain guys, the relationships they have with you. That's how a lot of women function in this society. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be that way, but that's how it is. Because I've met a lot of women. I meet women every week where I live at, and a lot of them have different relationships with different guys. Their relationship with me, 9 times out of 10, is very different from the other guys that they have around in their circles. I know this because when they're around me, they can be themselves. They don't have to perpetrate the fraud. They don't have to act like they're on stage performing. But when they're around other people, other guys, or other circles, I know they're a little bit different. Some might be totally different. And marriage is no different. A lot of people are together, and they shouldn't have never been together. And a lot of people never really see the real person. They see a facade. They see a person it's kind of like a performance on stage. A lot of people live double life. It's very few marriages I know that people really see the real person on both sides. It's rare. It happens, but it's very rare today. Back in the day, it was different. It was different when your grandmother or maybe your mother was growing up, depending on how old your mom is. But it was different. But today, you can't expect. I think it's a mistake to expect a perfect woman. It's not going to happen. You're going to meet a woman maybe she's perfect for you, but to expect her to be flawless, to expect her to have everything together, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to work out whatever differences and whatever problems you have, and see that the problem is the problem, because most people can't get past the problem. Because to get past the problems, you have to look at yourself. And see, most people don't like what they see when they look in the mirror. So that's when pride and ego gets in, and then it gets too painful, and they'll just get a divorce. And that's why the divorce rate is so high in this country, because a lot of people can't get past the problem. See, there's 3 stages in marriage, or any long-term relationship, really. It's the pleasure, the problem, and production. Those are the 3 stages, 3 P's: pleasure, problem, and production. People love the pleasure. They like fun. They like romance. They like having a good time. But When the kids come in, that's when the problems gonna come in. When the bills come in, that's when the problems gonna come in. When the family come in, when it's time to get things done, that's when the problems come in. One person gonna point the finger at the other one. One is name calling. There's your fault. There's I don't got time. There's the woman, she stopped nourishing the man. She stopped sleeping with the man. She's trying to ration out the sex. Then the guy, he gets frustrated and he goes elsewhere, out in the street, to get whatever taken care of that he's lacking. So there's no one pointing the finger at themselves. No one wants to look at themselves, or at least one person don't want to look at themselves anyway, because they don't like what they see when they look in the mirror. And if you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror, it's almost impossible to be into or at least attempt to live in harmony with somebody else. It's impossible. You cannot, and you will not be in harmony with anybody else if you don't like what you see when you look in that mirror. Self-love is powerful. It's like a nuclear bomb on silence. Self-love. A person cannot and will not care about you or even like you if they don't like what they see when they look in that mirror. And that's what it is. This is why you have a lot of all this makeup, fake hair, weave, and plastic surgery. All that comes from the lack of self-love. And these are the types of women that guys fall for most of the time out here. These are the types that they want. Because they think that if they get with these types of women, that somehow it's going to be all good and they're going to live life happily ever after. And I'm telling you, it doesn't happen that way. Because these women, they don't even want to be with half of y'all out here. They don't even want to be with half of y'all. You should focus on the women that want to be with you. But no, we don't do that most of the time. We focus on the women that don't want to be with us. But we want to be with them. But they don't love themselves. And they will never love you. So it is what it is. So if you like what you heard, check out my Patreon. Patreon.com/sharpgame. Check out my website, chooseyourrelationships.com. Go get my books, Love Can't Wait, and A Chicken's Guide to Having Women Beg for You, Sex, Lust, and Lies. And check me out on Instagram, Sharp Game. So until next time, I'm out. Peace.